Alright guys, we're out here in the garage again. What do we got going on out here, Tim?
Whoa, sneaking up on me.
What the heck happened to your machine, dude?
You know, it's just facelift time, man. New look.
Winter build here?
Yeah, update. But this is all behind the scenes. They're not supposed to see this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and obviously you get to see things that are going on right now. This is going to be
Projects.
over multiple videos, but we're going to do some part installs on it. We got some parts to install. We're not going to do every part install. You know, like I bought a used steering wheel and painted it. I put it on. But I did put that on TikTok.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out our social
TV
media
Outlaws.
stuff, yep.
But there's a lot going on here. But we do have some parts. We're going to go ahead and install them, show you guys how to do that. So today we got some SuperATV heavy-duty billet aluminum tie rods. See if I can find a razor here. But we're going to go ahead and install these, do a comparison to stock, tell you what we think about them, and yeah. So that's what we got going today. But we've been trying to change a lot of things. I ripped through the garage and got rid of a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, see, it's been cleaned up a little bit in here. Yeah, not bad.
The problem is I just got so much stuff and I use it on a daily basis. So I don't obviously do this for a living, I just wrench for a living.
Yeah.
So I need all this stuff. But on another note, trying to make it look nicer, trying to get rid of some of the clutter. So I just put it all in April's closet.
April's his wife, in case anybody wanted to know.
They should probably pick up by now.
Yeah.
But comes with some stickers, some directions. Let's see what else got going on in here.
We're guys, we don't read directions.
Feels kind of beefy.
Nice.
Nicely done.
This thing is packaged up real nice.
It's got a nice package.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, you could buy nicer, you know, other things that you would think should be really protected, and they're not. And then you get this, some metal parts, which obviously you want them to be presented nice, but there's other things I would expect to be packaged as nice, and they're not. So we got our boots, some zip ties, probably some heim joints. Yep, some heim joints. They come in a nice. Oh, you can wear this as your costume. You like that fishnet stuff, right?
Sure.
You can put that on. That could be a new mask.
I don't think that's gonna work.
I'm just gonna start making COVID masks out of fishnet.
Fishnet, okay.
Yeah. See if anybody complains. So your jam nuts. Here's
I mean, technically, when you go into the store, it says mask required. So.
I mean, it didn't say what kind of mask.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna cut it open for a burrito.
I mean, all these people walking around not even covering their noses, so I guess, you know, well,
So,
whatever.
Everything is individually packaged. You got your heim joints. I don't know which end that is. I'm gonna assume that's the outer end. I do know what end it is.
Glad you figured that out.
Yeah, this is the inner end. So they use like your traditional razor tie rod end where it threads in like a car. So this style's like a car. This is your normal inner tie rod. There's other people out there now. Granted, I've never had the other ones, but there's other companies that have like the heim joints, and they have like a knuckle that threads into the rack and pinion like this would, and then it grabs this heim joint. And I don't know, I believe, if I remember correctly, I read something where it was like you get bump steer out of it, or at certain droop they bind. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the other style looks cooler. But this is going to be in a boot anyways. You're not going to see it. So it comes with new boots. One side's longer than the other. See what else we got on here. Nothing. That's it. That's a nice package though.
Yeah, for sure. So we mentioned in the previous video too, you know, we got a lot of Super ATV. You guys just seen the video done on these. So if not, you can go back after this one and go watch the video on that. He's got the radius rods, axle shafts. He's got the front A-arms up here are all Super ATV. Never had a lick of problem out of any of them. So
other than killing ball joints, but I got that fixed. That's not going to be a problem anymore with some captured ball joints. Yeah, the only thing left is front axles, and I really like the Rhino 2.0s.
Yeah, they've been good.
I mean, really, after all the suspension is done back here, I have sway bar links. And you could show them on the last video, if they watched the last video. We didn't get the
the straps.
The limit straps hooked back up. I had to order some special bolts, but they're all hooked up and working nice.
Yeah, where'd you get those from? J&L or?
I ordered those from Fastenal.
Fastenal, okay.
Yeah, they were a special diameter. I don't know if it was like an M10 or M12. I don't remember.
Yeah, special length.
But basically, I ordered a special length, and then I had to cut down my spacers to hold it out from the shock body. But like I said, other than the sway bar links back here, the sway bar links up front, and the axles, everything is basically upgraded on the suspension. So that's my plan, is to, by the end of the winter, I have, some Rhinos in the front, or some heavy duty axles in the front. I really probably be Rhinos, and everything on the suspension's upgraded. So, and then motors had a lot of upgrades lately. Body's getting some upgrades right now. Interior's getting some upgrades. So you guys all see that's come. But let's jump to this install.
Yeah, so on this install too, something else we talked about, we'll probably just do a time lapse on the one side. We'll shoot that first, and then on the other side we'll know exactly what we got going on, and then we'll actually go in depth, what you guys need as far as wrenches, sockets, stuff like that go. So that way we can get a better idea of what we're looking at, and then we can make the install go a little bit quicker. So we're gonna go ahead and do a time lapse next, so you guys will see that next.
Try something different.
Yep.
Right, so minus the boot, I basically assembled one so you can see how it goes together. And then I have one took apart. Basically, this is this end, and then you'd have your jam nut that would go on there. Okay, and then you have a misalignment bolt. You put your misalignment bolt on there, it goes in there, locks it in. Then you have another half here, misalignment spacer goes on there. Then you'd have a nut, okay, and it doesn't have like a castle nut to where like you tighten it down so far and then the cotter key in. But this one, you just put it down in there, and you put this through there, and if it loosens up, which has got a lock nut, it shouldn't loosen up, but if it did, this would stop the nut from coming off, and you'd notice something wrong, which is perfectly fine. So then basically, you got that on here, that would then thread into there. I always thread lock these. I don't know what other people, do, but that's how I do them. Put a little thread lock on there, thread lock it in, tighten it up, you put your boot on, zip tie will go around here, zip tie will go around here, and basically to set your alignment, it looks like you're going to have to keep your boot sitting up here.
And then slide it down after?
Yeah, set your alignment right. Once you get your alignment right, then you can slide it down over there. So what I'm going to try to do is, we still haven't done this time lapse or even took the machine apart yet, but I wanted to show you how this basically looks all in one. Pretty nice looking quality.
Yeah,
I don't see nothing wrong there. Now, another thing is so I think these are going to be fine. I think these are heavy duty. I feel that they're going to be way stronger than stock. Obviously, we'll pull them up here on the bench and compare the two, and I'll tell you what I think. But as of right now, you guys got to remember that not everyone is sending it, through the air and nose diving their machine and bottoming out all the time, which tends to happen a lot with me. So I might be putting more wear and tear on these than your average
rider. Yeah,
right. I figure that's 2,000 miles or 2,500 miles in the dunes last year.
Yeah.
So, or this past year, 2020. So we'll see. I think they'll hold up fine. But I just, in 6 months we're going to do a review on these parts, and you guys just going to have to take in consideration that.
Yeah, you're kind of rough on things.
I'm really rough on things. So that's why we're trying to upgrade things. Now, I don't know how all these nosedives. So normally what happens is, like if you were to jump something, and you were to just land like this, it ain't no big deal. But if you were to jump something and you land like this, right here is where your steering is at halfway. You're on the steering to where the steering could rip from you to the left, to the right, or your tires could bow. And your tires could bow because your tie rod's bent. And basically, I don't know how I've done all these jumps where it's coming down really nose heavy. I mean, I got some pictures where I'm hitting the ground like this. You know, let's say at 11 o'clock compared to 12 is straight up and down.
Yeah.
I don't know how I ain't been a tie rod yet.
Yeah.
But then I watch other people where they jump and they have a little, maybe their machine bottoms out a little bit. I don't have a lot of bottoming out, but when their machine bottoms out, maybe that helps it to where it helps bend it, you know. Because as you hit the ground, your suspension droops. It makes your tires, you know, bow in or bow out, you know, because that's how your suspension works. If your machine is level, your tires are staying straight. But as you turn, your steering turns too. Or as you bounce up and down,
Yeah, your suspension
turning.
flexes, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my opinion on that so far. Now,
And that's why we talked about, you know, every 6 months we want to do a review on all the parts that we've installed recently.
Yeah.
So we could tell you guys, hey, this is held up or this hasn't held up. And so if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, I would recommend it. And we'll have a review here coming up shortly for the stuff that we've done in the past that we've ran for the last summers.
Alright guys, so you just seen us do the time lapse taking it apart. So while it was here, I wanted to show you how I roughly measure this up and wanted to compare the two. First off, you guys know I got, I don't know, roughly 3,600 miles. And normally when a ball joint is, or a ball joint, this is basically a ball joint, but it is a tie rod, okay? It's a joint socket. Basically when they're bad, they normally flop around, or if you were to grab your tire and pull it, you could put your hand on it, you'd feel it pop, you know, the joint come in and out. And I've showed you this in previous videos. But basically, for stock, I mean, I got to give it to them because I've beat this machine. And I mean, I always check my stuff, but I've never had a loose tie rod, never had any play in my rack, nothing like that. This thing is still stout, nice and tight, no movement. That's crazy. I mean, you can't get that out of a lot of things. And like this, no movement in or out, still nice and stiff. It doesn't like flop around. Normally when one of these inner tie rods go bad, it'll just flop all around, be all loose.
Yeah, before this we had Jeeps, so we know all about that.
We've done lots of suspension work.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta say, for all the, I mean, there's no bends to them. I mean,
Yeah,
straight. And I thought this would be a weak point. Plus, this is casted, plus it's bent. Like, it's insane. I gotta say that these are still good, and these are going to be kept as spares because you never know when something's going to happen. But basically, what I do is, let's say I get this nice and straight here, okay, straight as I can. And normally I would get this straight too, but that don't really matter as much. But I'm going up against the straight edge of the toolbox here, and I put it there, and I roughly try to get it where it's supposed to be. Now I've already measured this one and put it there. But basically you can straighten this out, put it there, and get you pretty close. And when I did this, I backed these nuts all the way off to where they threaded all the way in the shaft here and in the shaft on the inner one. And then I threaded them all the way into the rod. And once they got there, I had Will hold this side, which we'll show you on the next one we do on the other side. And I held this side and I just turned the rod out as much as I needed to get it to that measurement. What I did here is, so basically if I took this rod out and I lay that down like that, and I make sure it's just coming straight out of the middle there, I can go from the back side of here where the inner tie rod is then going to be locked down. I can go from there to there. That's 21 3/4, okay? Or I'm sorry, 20 3/4. So then I come here and I make sure this one's straight, and I'm just going off the back side. So obviously that's dead center of the tie rod, and I just go from the back here to the center, and there we are at 20 3/4, right to the center of that part. Now that's just me eyeballing it. Now Normally people just use a tape measure. This is getting it really close, and this is I'm just trying to match up what was originally on there, and I think that'll be fine. But when I would get on pavement with my machine before, because if you raise your preload or lower your preload on your shocks, on your springs, that makes your tires bow in or bow out more. If you left it where it was originally, your tires are going to be aligned right. But if you raise your suspension or lower your suspension based on your springs,
everything.
It's going to pull it out in or push it out. And so when I get on pavement with these big tires, I could let off a little bit and I'd feel it just veer a little bit, and it drives me up the wall. So this year I'm doing something different. Now that I have officially changed the tie rods, I got these tires on here. Once I get my new springs on here, I'm going to put a bigger rate spring on here, get my ride height where I want it. I'm going to actually try to take it to an alignment shop and get it done right. Do I need to do that? No, I don't. That's just me being
picky.
OCD about it.
Yeah, yep.
But I want to try it, and if it actually works, I mean, I don't mind paying someone to just align it real quick and be done, because I could take a tape measure. I could cut plates on the CNC machine that would bolt right onto each hub. You just hook a tape measure off each side, and it'd be easy as that. But they can put a machine on it, correct
and get it exact.
But no, this is going to put it back right where it should be, because this is the same length. So this is at 20 and 3/4. Both of them are at. So now, unfortunately, I got to take this off, slide the boot on, because I forgot to do that. Put the boot on here. I'm going to readjust it, one end, and we'll put it back on.
Yeah, so don't forget the boot.
Don't forget the boot. I'm good at forgetting stuff. And there's also, I guess I can go ahead and talk to you about it right now. So if you look at the inner tie rod here, it's got notches, okay? And that's for an inner tie rod tool. And I have one right here. Might as well show you, because just because I have one doesn't mean I'm going to use it. Here it is. So this is an inner tie rod tool, okay? Basically, you undo one end and you can slide this all the way down over it. And right here, it's got different size fingers that go in here. And basically, you slide the finger over it and you slide this in, turn this dial, locks finger, and then you can put a ratchet on the end and get the tire out of. I'm not using that. It's not that critical. You don't really need to worry about it like this. This doesn't, the stock one doesn't have a spot for you to do that. So what I do is I just loosen this clamp here, I slide the boot back, and I take a smaller pipe wrench, nothing crazy big, and I put it on there. These are thread locked. You can see the glue on there. I just take a pipe wrench and, just a couple good taps, and it comes loose. So the same thing going back together. I'm going to put some thread lock on there. I'm going to tighten it down as far as I can by hand, and I'll put a pipe wrench back on there and just pull it once or twice, and it's going to be done. And you're going to slide your boot back over, put your couple zip ties on, and there you have it.
Well, this one's got notches on it too.
It does have notches in it, but that's for that tool.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because, I got a lot of wrenches.
Nothing will fit that?
I don't know. We'll see. Hold on. I might have to go dig to a different drawer, but this is 1 1/4 inch. It ain't touching it. So that's what I'm saying.
Maybe a big crescent? I don't know.
I got a big crescent right here, but I don't think it'll touch it.
Okay.
We can see. It gets pretty big. Oh, but let's see.
It might be too wide.
The grooves aren't that big on this, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, see it might grab it enough. It does grab it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll use that. But it's just a pain to take this, because you have to break the tie rod down. So to use that tool I showed you a minute ago, you have to take on top of loosening everything, you have to crack this loose, back the tie rod completely off. Then you lose your measurement. Mm-hmm. So right now I left that locked right there and never did it. That measurement is exactly how it was. So if I bring it up here just like this, here we are. We got our size, we measure it, we size the new one right back up to it, and it's going to be almost spot on.
Yeah.
Where if I use the tool and break it apart, well then I might have turned this nut 2 more turns more, or 2 more turns too much, or whatever. So that's where we're at on that. I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff back, but I wanted to show you guys my thought on doing that and what I thought about the part. I guess I didn't even really compare the two. I just told you about the stock one, but obviously this is steel. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is heavy duty steel. I would say it's steel and it will do the job. It has, obviously. But this diameter aluminum is way bigger. Now, I feel my personal self that aluminum needs to be bigger than the diameter of the steel because...
Yeah, it's not as strong.
Yeah, it takes more for aluminum to be strong, but, like, it necks down pretty good right here. Like, I don't know how big the neck is here. I guess it's the same, about the same diameter as where it goes in right here as it is right here. So that's really not that big of a deal, and it's going to be the same thing down here, you know. But it does throw it down a little bit. It'd be cool if it was like everything was a little bit bigger, but I mean, I don't know that it needs it. Obviously, this did fine. So overall, I mean, this is still this is heavier. The aluminum one is
a little heavier.
Is for heavier, and we don't have the scale with us today.
You also don't have the boot on it either.
And I don't have a boot on it, and I don't have the bolt on it. I don't have the misalignment spacers. There's a couple things I don't have on it, but
they're probably similar.
Overall, I mean, this is a nice quality. It feels really nice.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. And this just, what's cool about this is it just shocked me.
Yeah.
It's the shock factor, you know. It just.
Yep. She's been holding up.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys seen the time lapse on the other side, so we're going to dig into this side over here.
All right, so to get your stock tie rod off, get you an 18mm socket. That's for right here. You can go ahead and pick the tie rod nut off the bottom. Okay, so you might as well go ahead and pop this. So what I normally do is if you tap right here on the knuckle, you ain't got to go crazy. This will come out. But I'm on the wrong side here, so let's see. So I just pull up on this and pop, and it comes out. You can get a ball joint fork and slide it between there too, but normally that would damage this boot, and this tie rod is still good as well, so I'm not trying to damage it, but it didn't make no mark. Should be good there.
And the factory ones don't have the cotter pin?
No.
Okay.
No. Just a lock nut. That's just like an extra added safety. So up here on this boot, there's going to be up in here on this boot, there's going to be a zip tie. And right there's the zip tie. So let's see if I can hold that back. I'll take these snippers, try to sneak in here and not cut the boot. Let's see, can I go this way? There we go.
Gotta cut the zip tie?
Yeah, see, cut the zip tie.
Okay.
And you slide this back out of your way. You do that. Okay, so now this is where I just take a pipe wrench and come up front here. Let's see how well this is going to work out. Yeah, see, I'm hitting the frame. Already stuck. Oh, that ain't working out too hot for me. You can't work a pipe wrench the opposite way. Yeah, so now I'm stuck a little bit. Oh, you know what? We can turn the wheel. That'll do it. Turn the wheel. Now we should have some more room. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a pain getting in there, but...
The other side easier, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the way you have to pull. Like this one, you pulled that way. That one, the other one, we pushed that way. So the slot in the trailing arm, now it's greasy. Once you get it moving a little bit, it'll just spin out, but it's got thread lock on it, so you got to deal with that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's going to fight you a little bit.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So you see the thread lock on the back side, and then there's still some factory grease left there. But let's see. I mean, like, that's still nice and tight, hard to pivot, which is what you want. And same thing over here. I mean, no play up and down. and still stiff. So like we said, it'll just flop around. Same thing here. This will just flop around. This is still good. So we're going to take it to the bench, and the measurement should be roughly the same as the other side. Normally,
yeah, we kind of showed you guys on the other side.
Alright guys, so obviously you've seen us measure up the tie rod. This showed you how to do that. So get you some thread lock, put on threads. I will say that the passenger side boot is tighter than the driver's side, and it was a little bit of a pain. And just make sure it's lined up. There's that. Now, see, it's got a snap ring right there. I want to put that down. I want to put that down. So this pivots. So I want to put that down. So then, if you look at this, it's tapered. So this is a built-on misalignment spacer, and this is your taper. If you remember, your original tie rod went down from the top, so the taper would then go in there and it locks it in there. And you got a nut that goes on the bottom. And if I remember right, it's like a 18 or a 19. Hold on, I'll tell you. That is a 19. So what I would do, put that on there, and hold this in place. So pushing down on that pushes the taper down in there, and it, it'll lock it up. Then you can just take counter pin and bend her around. This can't come back off. There's that. So then, to help line this up, because this is obviously going to be at a different angle here, you can take and put this in the top. This is your misalignment spacer. You put that in there, and so when you push that down, it lines that up. And now it's all the way down. Now if you take that misalignment spacer out, and you try to, you move it, you try to push that back down on there, it's kind of a pain. So if you just do this simple thing, it lines it all up for you. You take a nut, put it on there. Now I got it set up to where when I assembled these, it says SuperATV at the outer tie rod end. Because you could put it to where SuperATV was in there, but obviously probably look more pleasing this way, So then same thing, same socket. Gotta be nothing crazy. It is a lock nut, so should be fine. Same thing here, push it through. I like to fold this way and this way. And then that just keeps it to where if that nut does loosen up, you might notice there's some play there, but it's not going to let the nut come off and go all crazy. So, other side was kind of a pain to try to get that vice grip in there. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up here. Just put a pair of channel locks, as long as I can get in here. The boot is a pain though. Actually, you want to turn that wheel, or I might just do it right here. Let's see. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing it in because there's a spot right here in between the control arm and the frame, and now you can come right back up in here and grab it. Let's see. Too loose. Still too loose. One more. Okay. Alright, so that's for sure tight. Now, like I said, the boot's kind of tight over here, so I'm going to stretch that boot back around the inner tie rod to where we can button this back up. There we go. Okay. So now the area for your zip tie right there is back out. Now we got to push this all the way over.
All right, so it's little hard to see here, but you can see the zip tie that's back there holding the back side of the boot on. So
yeah, it's on, and then you got one more zip tie.
Yep.
For up front. Okay, and then you just snip them. Okay, there's that. Everything's on, obviously, except for the tire. Thread lock, boots back on. So there's the install. You know, compared to stock, I say they're heavy duty.
Yeah.
They're nice. They got Heim joints basically on both ends, so I don't see any limitations there. Where like I said, normally some of the other ones I've seen basically was something that threaded into the rack and pinion, and it had an opening here, and a bolt would go through it, and basically a Heim joint would go in there, and it would flex up and down, and then for some reason at some point, like say this got turned like this, it would bind your steering. Mm-hmm. So like I said earlier, I don't necessarily know which is better. I think one looks cooler than the other.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it works better.
Yeah, it works better. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I like them. So if you guys are into the set, hit up SuperATV. These are like the billet aluminum heavy duty tie rods.
Yeah. We'll put a link at the bottom too.
Yeah, we'll put a link to them. And then, like I said, we'll beat them and let you know how they are in a couple months. Now, granted, we're in winter time, so there ain't gonna be a whole lot of riding, but we do have some rides planned and other machines, and got a lot of stuff coming. I know you guys might think we always keep saying that, but what do we keep doing? We keep bringing
more and more content.
More. And in reality, it is big things, because doing turbos and doing all that stuff is, pretty pricey. So, if you guys like our content, please stick around. Lots of big things happening. Make sure you subscribe. We got TikTok now. We've been working on our website today, so we should have a website up very soon. Well, actually, by the time you guys see this, our website
should be up.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, UTV Outlaws store.
Yeah, UTVOutlaws.com. That should be up.
2 S's. Outlaws store.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll have a link for that as well. That'll be up. We'll have merchandise that can be ordered. We're going to place another order for merchandise. There's just...
Yeah, we're going to start offering stuff, limited time things, items, shirts, hoodies, stuff like that. So we've been working on some stuff like that. So
we got some pretty big projects.
You guys are going to stick around.
Yeah, just stick around. I promise it'll be worth it. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the whole 9. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. And
we'll see you in the next video.
Later.
What are we doing out here today, Tim?
I don't know. What do we got here?
Oh, we got ourselves a talon. A talon.
Big Daniel?
Putting a new roll cage on it.
Man. You gonna send it next year?
Oh yeah.
Always sending it.
Oh yeah.
What kind of cage you got going on this thing?
Brick City Fab.
Okay. I've heard good things.